All right, so I first want to just react to the film really quickly and just say, holy shit, this thing is crazy. And then I want to ask, number one, what was the most challenging scene you had to film? And number two, how did no one die on this set?
You tell the challenging, I guess. I'll tell about how we kept everybody alive.
I mean, it's really hard to pick one. You know, there were so many scenes that were ridiculously challenging. For me, probably the scene of having to drive through the police car and elbow the guy away, who's a policeman hanging on the side of the car, was really challenging because you have to, in this type of thing, you can't cheat in the way that you can in a normal film, and so you've got one angle on you, you've got one camera, you have to do basically everything you see in the film is done for real, and that was on a day where we had like no road closure, we had rain, and I'm doing like stunt driving and hitting and speaking Russian. And
Why not?
And trying not to, and exactly what you were saying, basically trying not to hurt anybody. In that particular scene, I thought I drove over the stuntman and killed him by the end when he came off.
But it was a road bump.
Yeah, it turned out to be a road bump.
We were terrified.
Which we didn't know until we came back, 3 minutes later, because our radio wasn't working.
Did we get it? We're like,
yeah.
You're alive, right?
We got blown the take because
we were terrified because he fell off perfectly when there was a road bump. We thought that's over him. That's over him.
But that goes into the safety thing.
Yeah.
Which was really the focus of the stunt guys and the incredible talent of the Russian stunt men
and women.
the crew.
We have the way nobody died and nobody got hurt is that everybody was superbly focused on what they were doing, and we had over 80 stunt days, shooting days with featuring stunts, and some were simple stuff like shooting a gun, and some were death-defying stunts where things can go wrong and that's it, you lose a person. We had 5 stitches on one stuntman's head and 1 chipped tooth.
Wow.
So our safety record is almost impeccable. Again, it was focus, it was planning, and every time there's a lot of improvisation as well, but it was improvisation with the thought of, are we sure this is 99 or 100% safe? So the record speaks for itself, but the danger was always there, and that's part of the thing, you had to keep the danger there, otherwise the film would never feel the way it does. Okay. And I'm glad you had that holy shit reaction, thank you.
That was not just me, that was the entire theater too, so don't worry about that. So now 4D technology with theaters is starting to become a thing where you can actually interact with the movie. Was that ever a thought on Hardcore Henry? Because, I mean, looking at even the clips playing around right now, we could be rumbling with the motorcycles, stuff like that.
4D? You mean 4D?
Yeah.
The theater technology.
It'll be great.
Yeah. So that was never a plan?
In South Korea, probably. It will be 4D.
Yeah.
We, while shooting it wasn't the plan. It was definitely never going to be a 3D film, because screw 3D.
Yeah.
Unless it's animated, in which case bring it on. Or Avatar. That looked pretty damn great.
Actually, that would be really cool for 4D, man.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a good idea. Thanks for that.
So I get the profit from that too, right?
Absolutely.
I get actually a cut from
99. We'll let us keep one. And
Don't say that on
take the
camera,
99.
bro. This is America. Everyone sues everyone.
Legal.
Russia.
Damn
It works different.
yeah, but I don't own the rights. So am I?
So the character of Jimmy goes through a few different personas, and that's not really a spoiler, it's in the trailer.
Yeah.
What was your
Don't tell me.
favorite character of Jimmy being able to play?
I mean, they all have a special little something. I personally loved the Colonel, as we called him, and the hippie Jimmy. Those were my favorites to do. Probably.
Same for me, except I'd add Cocaine Jimmy in the mix, just because it was wild.
Cocaine Jimmy, I've never done a drug in my life, so it was really strange playing Cocaine Jimmy. Even just smoking the weed, they're having to show me. Like, guys are like, no, that's not how it works.
I'm like, yeah, you have to inhale to exhale. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm taking license on how I'm just snorting bags of coke. It's fine. There's no real rules.
So this movie has a very heavy video game influence, as a gamer and someone who loves Call of Duty. So I'm wondering, is this a film that plays to all generations?
It was never made specifically for the video game market. It was never like, we'll make it for the video game market.
Right.
It doesn't matter what happens to everybody else. It's a film.
Yeah.
It was always made for people who are like to go to the movies and have a great time.
Having said that, it wasn't really made for our parents.
Well,
specifically.
I showed it to my dad when it was finished. I was very
Yeah.
curious before, and he watched the first 5 minutes, And he was like, I understand. It works. Ah, that's what you. Ah, and then he watched the whole thing, and he said, I understand why it took you 3 years to make. That was his comment. So, yeah.
And what's interesting, what's interesting, I think this movie will be very, very good for for girls.
I
For
underestimated the female. I was like, oh, boys like guns, and I like guns, and it'll be funny. But then we're doing the early sort of screenings and showing bits and pieces, and I've had my friends bring their girlfriends and my friend girls over, and we'd watch, and they'd be super vocal about it. And I was like, my God, they have a tendency to like violence no less than we do. How interesting.
Because every girl dreams that her boyfriend will kill 1,000 people to save her.
Yeah, that's true. I dream of my wife will kill 1,000 men to save me. That'll be great. She'll probably do it too.
So now, if you can pick one classical, maybe action film, and maybe not even classical, your favorite action film, and adapt it to this kind of filmmaking, what would it be?
Hard Boiled.
Oh, okay.
Hard Boiled. I think it was one of those things that I was showing the crew. It was Hard Boiled. It was The Raid. Then The Raid 2 came out. We were making. I was like, guys, that's the bar now. Just so you know, I wrote to Gareth and congratulated him on the movie, and he was very supportive. It was very nice of him. That's the kind of I think in terms of I don't think The Raid needs to be in first person. I think The Raid is amazing as it is, but and Hard Boiled is amazing as it is.
Yes.
But just the gunplay and all the John Woo isms, I think they translate into first person pretty well.
What about you guys? Do you have a favorite you'd like to see?
Terminator.
Terminator first person?
I don't. I think it's its own thing, man. It's like
Yeah. Oh no, I totally get that. Okay. Well,
But
thanks.
if we had to,
yeah.
if we had to, yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. I got the wrap on that. So
Thank you very much.
absolute pleasure. And it was hilarious because I was sitting next to one of my friends, and she's.